Hi guys, I have the pleasure to be at Garry W. Morden Center. I'm with the recruits with Mississauga Fire and Emergency Service. So I wanted to get to know them and everything that they do for our community. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am so blessed to have you guys here. I have 3 recruits. Would you guys mind just introducing yourselves?
My name is Milton Fonseca.
My name is Carrie Cable.
And my name's Ravi Graham.
So you guys are recruits. Would you like to kind of tell us what it takes to be here?
Yeah, I guess I can start with that one. I think for all of us, the path is different. We've all come from different backgrounds. Myself, I came from a military background, so I've been with the reservists for about 6 years, and I decided I want to continue with the public service, and being with Mississauga and a firefighter was the absolute best way that I could do that. So that's the path that I took to get here.
Amazing. What about you?
I would have to say the same. I think everyone brings their own different and unique backgrounds with them. We have lots of construction and kind of utility workers, healthcare, lots of different kind of avenues people have brought forward, but everyone complements each other, and I would say that we share a generalized teamwork goal initiative and just in wanting to really help the public and help each other. So I personally come from a nursing background for about 11 years, and yeah, and I'm here today.
Thank you.
Just like my colleagues, my background is from the developmental disabilities side. So I used to work with adults with developmental disabilities for about 2 years, and then I transitioned over to intensive behavioral intervention, which is IBI for children with autism. And I think that my aspects of consistently helping and wanting to support, whether it be the adults, individuals, or my community, I really wanted to make sure I could make a change and help support them as best as possible. And then it was a transition into fire, and that was one of the biggest and best decisions of my life, to make that supportive change and to help my community. So yeah, that was just a little tidbit.
Well, congratulations all of you for being here.
Thank you.
What made you want to be a firefighter?
That reminds me of my interview question.
Oh, sorry.
It's a very easy answer for me. You know, just the sense of purpose that you come into work every single day, and you're always presented with unique challenges, and you work with a diverse team. You know, to find a solution to it, and a lot of times it is saving a life or lives. So just the thought of being in that environment every single day was a no-brainer for me. So that's what brought me here.
Amazing. For yourself?
For me, it was the same as my colleague here, along with, you know, I just really feel like everyone in fire is really driven to work as a team, and yeah, absolutely. And I feel it's a brother sisterhood, and it doesn't feel like work to me. It really does feel like a community of friends. I'm able to bring my past experience with medical along, and every day we train and work towards new and advanced things, and I think that's just a wonderful opportunity to be able to do that every day. So
amazing.
Yeah.
I think for me too, it's a family. You know, it's you're around everybody for an extended period of time, and you become very, very close with them, and you become family as far as I'm concerned with them. For me, the big reason that I chose to get in fire was because fire was on scene for my uncle when he passed away. So, you know, that was the big piece for me.
You're amazing. No. Thank you so much for sharing that. That takes a lot. Thank you. So if we transition a little bit further, let's play it a little lighter. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a police officer. Then I saw the light. Yeah, so I took a bit of an unconventional path. I went to school for engineering. I did civil engineering at U of T. And then being in the military for a while, I realized that the true camaraderie and the brotherhood that exists there, plus being able to apply those skills on a regular basis, was where I wanted to be. So it just made sense for me, transition from police officer to you know, actually fulfilling what I want to do.
Amazing. Garry, will you tell me, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a tennis player, and I realized I was no Serena Williams. Then I decided nursing was something I wanted to pursue. So yeah, so I got into that, and then I had some friends and quite a few family members in fire, so I decided that, you know, I wanted to give that a shot. I love physical activity, and the fact that I could bring some medical to it, that was really attractive for me, and get my toes into the firefighting through our volunteer fire department. Come from a small town and loved it, so
Wow.
never looked back. That's good.
Good for you.
Yeah.
For yourself.
I think if you ask my family, they'll say garbage man. You know, from back in the day, they said that for some reason I was very interested in the garbage truck for whatever reason. So, but to be honest, I knew I wanted to do something that was going to be able to help people and kind of support our community and things like that, right? So, it kind of transitioned into behavioral science and then become an IBI therapist. And then from there, when I made the change right away, I knew that I was happy with what I did, and I felt that it was a good stepping stone to kind of get me into the fire service, to try to broaden and to be able to be more supportive in that area. So I felt that that was kind of my transitional point for me right away there, and you know, and meeting the fantastic people along the way that kind of help. Because, you know, just like the fire service is a team, when you're working together, the process to get hired is also a massive team effort between your colleagues that you meet, friends that you meet that kind of encourage you through, and your family as well, right? So, you know, for me, I knew this was the best decision possible.
That's amazing that that's where your career led you. Once you touched on it, you said that there is quite a large process in becoming a firefighter. Can we just touch on that for a moment? So what does the process kind of even look like?
It varies for every single individual.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of has their previous careers and their path to get there. But the essentials now, where you have to have your firefighter 1 and 2. So you have to get some sort of a pre-service. So that would be an absolute essential that you need. And you guys can add a couple more things that we had to get.
Yeah.
So can I just inquire, firefighter 1 and 2?
Yeah, so that's your basic firefighting skills. So you go to a pre-service and accredited one,
Okay.
and they teach you some of the skills that we already learned here, but it gives you a basis so that you're not just starting from a crawling pace. So you have an idea, you know, how to put up ladders, how to pull hose, how to roll hose, how the fire truck works, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. And then what happens?
Yeah, so I took a different approach. You can go to an accredited college such as Conestoga College or Humber, or there's multiple throughout the province, and then some people go to the States and to do a Texas course. My approach was through my volunteer fire department.
Got it.
They sent me to school, and so I did 1 weekend for 6 months. I would go away to school for the weekend, and then I would come home and do a bunch of kind of online learning, and then go and do the practical for the weekend. So that's how I received my Fire 1, Fire 2 certificates. And then there's a bunch of courses you can take to enhance a lot of fire prevention. Fire is a very broad subject, right? So there's lots of courses that I think are completely beneficial to kind of gear you into being the best firefighter you can be. So I did a bunch of those courses, and then if you wanted to talk about maybe OFAI a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So I can, you know, when you make the decision to go into fire, sometimes you do it as a mature student or an older adult. So for example, for myself, like I quit my job, and I made the decision to go back. I could save money, and it was an 11-month program. And like, you know, like Milton said, you know, you're learning all the kind of the basics of how to crawl before you can walk, so to speak. And once you're done that, for a particular, you go to a different organization such as something called the OFAI. And at the OFAI, they do different testings for you. For example, things like your aptitude testing, your physical fitness testing, and skills testing. So you go through that set of testing, and once you have those, the certificates, I guess, is one of the best ways to kind of describe it as. That kind of gets you in the pool to allow to start the application process to apply to the fire service. And there's several fire services throughout Ontario that take these certificates, and once you attain these certificates, you can, when the opening happens within the organization, for example, Mississauga opens, you have whatever their window is, time frame to apply.
Yeah.
And then you provide those certifications for them along with your resume, cover letter, different certifications that you might have, things like that. And then when it closes, then it demonstrates a good opportunity for you to show very good patience. And you continue on the process. You continue doing your daily life. You continue bettering yourself, because just like, you know, the firefighters we see daily, they're always trying to better themselves, to do something better, to be that better person for the next time through or the next day. So just like ourselves applying, we want to do the next thing better, to better ourselves, to be the best firefighter we can be for the public.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you guys. Okay, so last question. Is there any advice that you guys can give to anyone hoping or looking to be a firefighter?
Yeah, probably the biggest piece of advice is don't stop trying, like keep going at it. It can get a little discouraging at times, because like we were mentioning before about the UFII tests and just polishing your resume, there are a lot of people applying, and it sometimes could be difficult to stand out. So just keep applying, get good community service hours in, and experience, making sure that you're relevant in the job and the role that you're going to be in. So that would probably be my biggest piece of advice. Don't stop. I've known people that have been applying for 10 years and they finally got on.
Nice.
And they say it's the absolute best job in the world.
Amazing. Thank you for that advice. For yourself, Garry.
I think it's, you know, you really have to be true to yourself, and if that's something you really want, like Milton just said, you keep working towards it, but just be you and keep working towards it, because it's the kind of thing where when you do get into an interview or you meet people who are in the field, I think that shines through, and I think that's a really good point. You can take as many courses as you want, but I think when it comes down to it, if you really have that drive, you know, you have to go with that.
Yeah.
Use that to put you through it all.
1,000,000%.
For myself, I think the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, is this what you want to do?
Yeah.
And if there's no doubt that your question is yes, understand that anybody can do it, right? We're not special people in terms of, you know, we don't have any special superpowers or anything like that. We worked hard, we committed ourselves, stayed committed, and anybody can do it. Doesn't matter where you're from, background, anything like that. It's a matter of staying committed, staying driven, and understanding, having kind of like a good support system in place as well, which counts as anything, yes. But definitely the advice would be anybody can do it. You know, we're able to persist ourselves and push ourselves to where we are, and it's important to know that if you want it bad enough, if you can do it, you just gotta work for it.
I love your guys' advice. So hopefully if anyone is thinking about becoming a firefighter, they hear your words and that encourages them to go on. Thank you so much for coming together. I know you guys have a busy day, but taking the time to kind of talk to our community and shed some light on your industry. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a good day. Hi guys, I'm here with Tanya Bettridge, and she is the Captain of Public Education for Mississauga Fire.
Correct.
Can you tell me what your division does?
So Mississauga Fire, obviously, in emergency services, looks after the safety of the residents in terms of fire and life safety across the city. And there's what we call the 3 lines of defense. So the first line is public education. The second line is code enforcement. So that's our inspectors, our plans examiners, the people that really keep the buildings safe.
Okay.
And then we have our third line, which is, that's the big one, right? That's your fire trucks and your firefighters and the ones that are putting the wet stuff on the hot stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the most exciting one. But my division looks after the first line of defense. And we call it the first line of defense because it's all about preventing tragedy, right? Preventing fires, preventing deaths and injuries, and really just kind of targeting people's behaviors to make sure that they are living a fire-safe lifestyle and that they're looking after their families in that way. So my division is tasked with communicating with all of our residents and visitors as well to make sure that they are doing those things and keeping themselves and their families safe, their pets safe. And once we all kind of do that, then we're just a safer city So yeah, I'm in charge of the division and the team that's going to be helping Mississauga be fire safe.
Amazing. Thank you so much for everything
Thanks
you do.
for having me.
A million percent. It's so important, your position in our community. And I want to speak a little bit more about fire safety.
Sure.
So as we're talking fire safety, what are some things that people don't know are of the utmost in kind of doing the right thing for their home regarding fire safety?
A lot of people think that fires won't happen to them. That's probably the number one. And I think they need to realize that, hey, fires can and do and will happen. And the best thing you can do is be prepared for that.
Yeah.
So in terms of the home, the number one thing obviously is working smoke alarms. Replace them every 10 years. And you know, there's some really cool products on the market now. They have 10-year sealed battery alarms. So that means that the alarm and the battery is good for 10 years. You don't have to change the batteries for 10 years. You just have to test it once in a while, you know, monthly to make sure that it works. But otherwise, you don't have to ever buy a battery for 10 years and you don't have to worry about it. So we kind of recommend those right now in terms of getting the public to kind of be like, oh, it's not such an annoying device. I just buy it once every 10 years. You know, you buy cars more often.
Yeah.
And cars are a lot more expensive than smoke alarms.
That's a good point.
Right? And so this is, they are a little bit more expensive than your typical smoke alarms, but when you factor in the cost of batteries over 10 years at twice a year, you're probably saving money.
Yeah.
And you're saving lives, right? You're protecting your family and your own home and yourself by having those working smoke alarms and working carbon monoxide alarms as well. So if you have a fuel burning appliances, so let's say a gas stove or a gas water heater, a fireplace, an attached garage, those are all potential sources for carbon monoxide. So then you really want to have that CO alarm outside your bedroom areas. And again, you know, CO, a lot of people don't realize it's not like propane or natural gas so you can smell it. It's completely odorless, it's tasteless, and you can't see it either. So that's why they call it the silent killer. And so you definitely, the only way to protect yourself and your family from harmful CO exposure, because it could be fatal for prolonged high exposure, is to have those working CO alarms in your home. So those are the two things, but I think the big one is that, you know, people just don't think it'll happen to them. They don't think they'll have a CO leak. They don't think they'll have a fire. So they kind of like, that's kind of how they feel about safety. And I always say, you know, do you lock your door at night? Do you lock your car? Do you put your seatbelt on? You know, there's decisions that you make every day for your own safety, and so fire and CO safety should be no different. There's a few things in the home that people kind of forget sometimes.
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Only because we did speak quite extensively before.
We have a problem.
We've had a really good morning kind of getting to know each other and laughing with each other. So it's been a great morning getting to know you. But you made a great point to say that a lot of people hate fire alarms because sometimes they're easy to go off.
Absolutely.
And you've made a point of stating there are so many different fire alarms on the market nowadays, and nothing to kind of get intimidated of, but there are ones especially to go close to the kitchen. So if it's a concept of you don't want it going off so easily, there are different ones that you can use.
Absolutely.
Nowadays.
And all it is you know, just do your research before you go to the hardware store or to Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever you're purchasing the alarms. Do your research as to what exactly you want and what you need. So if you have hardwired alarms, you need to replace those with hardwired alarms. So always go the same or better level of protection. If you burn a lot of toast, as my household does, then you'll want an alarm that's specifically geared for the kitchen area. And you'll see a lot of manufacturers will put right on it that it's good for the kitchen areas. So that's what you want for those areas.
Yeah.
And then for, say, the bedroom areas, you know, you want something that's really sensitive and it's going to work really fast.
Yeah.
So again, just do your research and make sure that it has the ULC listing on it. You definitely want that ULC listing. And actually, if you go to our Twitter page, we talk a bit about that, and we show you some of the symbols to look out for. So yeah, go to Mississauga Fire Twitter.
Thank you. So with that said, I know I unfortunately interrupted you. You were going to give us little tidbits of,
Yes.
you know, here's some of the little areas in your house you might want to look out for.
Now, for those of you that are blessed, like I am, with kids that actually do laundry, what bless them, they do the laundry, but they often forget to clean up that dryer lint. So it's really important to pull up that sleeve and dig out that lint, because it could, you know, get trapped and start a fire. So there's quite a few dryer fires out there that happen. And you know, if you're like me and you tend to put a load on before bed, right? Let the dryer run through the night, you could be waking up to a fire.
Okay, so can you just tell me about that? How often should you be clearing the dryer shop? Or is it just kind of like, do it every time?
I do it every time.
Every time?
Every time. So you might not be cleaning it out every time, but you should be checking it every time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
and it's just as much a habit as putting in those bounce sheets,
Yeah.
you know, the dryer, the softener sheets.
Yep.
Or checking to make sure that there's nothing else still in there, or any
Yep.
change or anything like that.
Amazing. I will definitely mentally note that.
Yeah, and the other thing is as device chargers. You know, our households have how many devices now? I mean, my household, I think everybody has at least two devices each.
Easily.
So did the teenagers have even more?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of make sure that you're not purchasing chargers that aren't safety approved. So, you know, a lot of times it's really easy just to go to that dollar store sort of deal, but you want to really make sure that they do have a safety listing label on them, and never charge your device under your pillow or on your bed, period. You know, and parents will love this. Tell your teenagers to put the phone down on the dresser or a night table or out of the room, what have you. But there's been a lot of newsworthy events where, you know, they fell asleep with the phone under the pillow and it started the fire. So imagine, you know, first it's the pillow, but then it's your teenager.
That's tragic, yeah.
Right? And there's been some tragedies that way. So we definitely want to avoid that. So making sure that everything that you're purchasing, you wouldn't want to purchase a car that had a 1-star safety rating.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with your device chargers. It's the same with your smoke alarms and your CO alarms. You want to make sure that you are purchasing things that meet the safety standards.
Absolutely. Okay, we are on our last question. Can we talk home escape plans?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, if you want to close your eyes and just imagine that it's the middle of the night and you wake up to the smell of smoke, right? And the smoke alarms are going off, and you try and get out of your bedroom, and you realize that that's blocked. You can't get out of your bedroom or down the stairs or what have you. You need a second way out. If you haven't planned for that, what are you gonna do? You're gonna panic,
Absolutely.
right? And when you panic, you hyperventilate, and you're just breathing in a lot of smoke at this point.
I think even if you have a plan, you might panic.
Probably.
Truly,
Yeah, but at least if you've practiced that plan enough times,
Yeah.
it's muscle memory. And you're like, nope, I got this, I know what to do. Get the kids, they know what to do because they've been involved in your practice. And you are finding that second way out, and you're going to your designated meeting spot. So when you're creating your plan, you're gonna lay out your home. Whatever that may be, whether it's your apartment, a house, a townhouse, whatever the case may be, plan 2 ways out of every room. And if that is a window or a balcony, you're going to need maybe another plan for that exit, right? So if you're in a 2-story house, for example, and your second way out is a window, you might want to maybe think about one of those escape ladders that, you know, the rope sort of, they kind of accordion out, and they help you get out. And again, you can pick those up at Home Depot or wherever. But having those 2 ways out means the difference between panicking and not panicking, and maybe getting trapped and not getting trapped.
Yeah.
Right? Because keep in mind, the fire department might be getting there in 3 or 4 minutes, but that's after the 911 call's been placed.
Right.
Right? How long can you hold your breath? I know I can't hold my breath for 3 to 4 minutes.
No.
And you know, and that's only after the 911 call's been placed.
Yeah.
So there could be a lot of time in between that as well. So it could be maybe 10 minutes before, from the time that the fire starts to when the fire department is, you know, notified and gets there. So I don't know anyone that can hold their breath for 10 minutes.
It's not me.
No. And kids, their natural inclination is often to hide. They'll hide in a closet or under their bed when something really scary, especially if they're little kids. So by having that home escape plan and practicing it, which is the other important part, put your kids in charge of it. Give them a little bit of responsibility. Give them, heaven forbid, a whistle and a stopwatch. You'll have to take the whistle back after, but have them run the drill. Have them run that practice and time your family, and always try and get that personal best, and celebrate when you've done that. And it gives the kids a sense of responsibility and accomplishment when you've had a successful practice. But also it just reinforces that they hear the smoke alarm, they know they need to get out and stay out and have that designated meeting spot outside. There is nothing worse, and trust me, if you're a parent, you'll know this too. There's nothing worse than having a fire in your home and you get outside and not everyone's accounted for.
Right.
And there's been situations where they didn't have a designated meeting spot. Well, the kids in the backyard, the parents are in the front, and they think their kid is still in that house, right? And what an awful feeling that is. And it puts your first responders, your firefighters at risk.
That's true.
Right? Because they're going to risk everything they can to save those people and save those kids. And little do they know that little Johnny is, in the backyard.
Yeah.
So always have 2 ways out of every room, plan it out, practice it, and have a designated meeting spot where you can account for everybody once they're out.
That is very good information. I think we did a pretty comprehensive understanding of what you do and some of our fire safety here in Mississauga. Is there anything else that you're like, this is something that somehow most people may not know, but we should as a community?
I think it's just more reinforcement that, fire has become sort of a tool for us. It heats our homes. We have that fireplace that's so romantic and cozy, or that awesome campfire in the summer, at the cottage. And fire's just become this not scary thing. And I think we've kind of downgraded how scary a fire is or how destructive it can be, and how often it actually happens. So don't think for 1 second that a fire can't happen to you. It can, and chances are, if you haven't prepared, a fire will take something really important from you. Whether it's your valuables, your life, or your family. Fire doesn't discriminate
At all,
anybody, and it will basically take the least protected first, I think. So you want to protect yourself. You want to smoke alarms, working smoke alarms for sure. It's the number one fire safety thing I can think of.
Perfect. So if everyone's watching this and your takeaway from that, go check your fire alarms, go buy fire alarms if you need to. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was informative. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Chaunyce.
Oh, my pleasure. And
we're gonna go hang out at the mall now.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the lint store.
Yes.
We've talked about it extensively, so that's where you'll find us.
Yes.
But thank you so much for your time, and always support local. Thank you.